is certainly a clip I found interesting. Check this out.
So this is what so many people don't understand. A big part of the confusion and shame for child victims is that the attention and the seduction from the predator, who is probably going to be somebody you know. Right. In order for it to work, it has to be somebody you know, somebody you admire, somebody you respect, or maybe even love. And it feels good.
It feels good. It feels good.
I mean, if you're 7 years old and somebody, which I was trying to say this to my friends who had children, you're 7 years old and someone is stroking your penis, it feels good.
7 years old and someone is stroking your penis, it feels good.
And all I could sit here thinking to myself is, how the hell does she know it feels good? Old clip from the Oprah show where they're discussing child sacrifice. What's said is quite interesting. Check this out.
Kinds of things went on in the family. Well, there would be rituals in which babies would be sacrificed. Then you would have to, babies. There were people who bred babies in their family. No one would know about it. A lot of people were overweight, so you couldn't tell if they were pregnant or not. Or they would supposedly go away for a while and then come back. Another thing I want to...
Speaking about child sacrifice, what the hell is with that lady's face?
Not all Jewish people sacrifice babies.
Not all Jewish people sacrifice babies,
Well, there you have it. Not all Jewish people sacrifice babies.
No, it's not a very useful thing.
Okay, now this part I found pretty disturbing. How are you sitting there on TV discussing the topic of child sacrifice and everybody's laughing? I really don't understand.
I heard of any Jewish people sacrificing babies, but anyway. So, you witnessed the sacrifice. Right. When I was very young, I was forced to participate in that, in which I had to sacrifice an infant. And the purpose of sacrifice is to what? Is to bring you what? What are you sacrificing for? For power. Power.
Oh, the things people will do on their quest for power. Now just think of all those kids that were at home with mommy sitting there watching this shit. Shit, I was one of them. My grandmother used to love watching Montel, Maury, Jerry, Ricky Lake, Sally Jesse Raphael, just to name a few. So as you can see, these were pretty common topics back in the day on mainstream television. But now if you talk about any of these things on your social media or anything of the sort, you'll get banned. Well, like, share, subscribe. Help stop the censorship. Keep rocking with the Baron.
This is an interview I wasn't sure would ever happen. One of the most famous spiritual healers in the world rarely talks to anyone on camera. John of God agreed to sit down with me under a mango tree on the grounds of the casa. A group of his patients gathered to watch. John of God speaks only Portuguese, so Heather Cumming helped translate.
Ready, guys? You describe yourself as a spiritual medium. What does that mean, a medium?
Médium, eu sou espiritualista.
As a medium, he's a spiritualist. He believes a great deal in God, and he practices this mission already 55 years.
Born on a farm to a family who rarely had enough to eat, João Teixeira de Faria was the youngest of 6 children. His father was a tailor, his mother a housewife who also ran a small hotel to make ends meet. João left school when he was 7 to work in his father's tailor shop. To this day, he cannot read or write. As a boy, João says he realized he was clairvoyant when he predicted a terrible storm that destroyed a neighboring village. This event began his journey as a spiritual medium. Are we all, in some sense, missionaries of God? Do we all have the possibility in our own way to be a medium for God?
Todos nós somos médium.
Everybody is a medium
Pratica o bem.
who practices good.
Deus.
And we are all children of God. And each person has their mission.
Yes. The first time I saw it today, I was humbled by the experience.
Ela disse quando ela viu primeiro as pessoas hoje,
Pouco, isso aqui pertence a você.
because a little bit of this belongs to you. A part of this belongs to you.
Definitely helped me.
Jeff, Doctor, like Susan experienced, many of the healing rituals John of God practices are so-called psychic surgeries, psychic operations, where he purportedly operates on a patient without touching them. But I understand there are some hands-on procedures as well. Jeff, is that right? You know, eye scraping, nasal probing, is that right?
That's right.
Can you just describe what you saw, Jeff?
Well, that was certainly something I was very interested to observe. A number of people told me down there that they believe they had sustained a healing from that kind of experience.
Our next story fits into the you have to see it to believe it category. An internationally known healer has come to Toronto, a man who claims to cure people of their pain and perform surgeries without anesthetic.
Yeah, Neil Coxell sat down with the man known as John of God, and a warning, some of the footage may be a little difficult to watch.
Lily Blood is full of hope despite a difficult diagnosis from infancy.
I'm 11 and I'm a paraplegic and I had cancer in the spine.
She's here with her family from New Jersey, along with more than 2,000 others at the convention center for a chance to see John of God. The Brazilian says he is not a doctor, not a religious leader, but a medium and healer. He says he's treated 15 million people, mainly at his casa in the Brazilian mountains.
I think the first time we saw him, it was a little bit hard to believe that it was, you know,
So
true.
you were skeptical too?
Of course, but then when I actually realized that people actually started standing up out of chairs, I was like, oh, okay, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Devotees say he has cured them of HIV, cancer, too.
It's a healing, but it's a life healing.
The healing comes in the form of invisible surgeries, but occasionally things go deeper. Actual incisions are made without anesthesia.
Is that possible, though? You see, it's not possible. And these people will stand there and they're not flinching. And they'll tell you, I could feel him, but I didn't feel any pain whatsoever, no pain.
The healing is free, but most everything else here comes with a cost. Blessed water at $3 a bottle, Brazilian crystals and meditation CDs. Organizers and believers say it is all just to cover expenses.
I'd tell skeptics just to be skeptics. It's okay for surgeons to make millions, but we don't want healers to make money.
Just then, we're summoned by staff. John of God has asked to see us. A rare invitation, we're told. We meet him in the hotel's presidential suite. Speaking through a translator, he addresses skeptics.
You can fool people for a year, 2 years, but not 56 years.
When he sees patients, he says he's overcome by spirits.
I go to sleep. I'm unconscious.
11-year-old Lily has been to Brazil and back. She's still not completely healed, but better, she says.
It made me understand that there's always hope and that I will walk one day too.
Now, John of God claims that he was just a little bit younger than Lily, 8 years old, when he realized the powers that he says he has, and he started to use them then. You noticed everyone in the story was wearing white. They're told to come wearing white because John of God says it opens up their energy so he can read their energy better. It was really remarkable, Mike and Anne-Marie, to meet him. You know, when we're sitting there, he said, I am just John the man at that point, but he says he transforms and doesn't remember anything about his healings. So it's interesting. It will be happening all weekend. Our cameras were not allowed to capture the actual healing sessions because they say they're too sacred. Oprah, however, her cameras are allowed in, and there's going to be an hour-long special devoted to his healing this weekend.
Interesting story. Thanks for bringing it to us, Neil.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Neil.
A Brazilian faith healer accused of sexually abusing more than 300 women has handed himself in to police. João Teixeira da Faria, known as John of God, was declared a fugitive on Saturday after missing a deadline to surrender to the authorities. Claims against him began earlier this month when a dozen women said the self-styled spiritual healer had abused them at his clinic. Since then, scores have poured in from women within Brazil and abroad. Faria became internationally famous when he appeared on a show hosted by Oprah Winfrey. His fame had been boosted by supposedly miraculous surgeries. He claims to have performed with his hands and without anesthesia. Faria denies all allegations of sexual abuse.
'Control, and I wanted to be able to be in control so I could manage what was going to happen in their lives. And so often what happens when you release it, it comes back to you. So that's what's happening. Magnificent that in the very beginning I could just tell, okay. It is that indefinable. Just everything comes together at a point where you understand that your life is bigger than you ever imagined. You know, I never had children. Never even thought I would have children. And now I have $152, expecting 75 more next year.
We arrested a former employee of who was working at Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls. She was arrested yesterday for several charges, including assault, indecent assault, as well as soliciting girls under the age to commit indecent assault. And she's now at the Vereniging police cells.
Matole Macheka for that. Thank you.
One week before trial was set to begin, Oprah Winfrey has settled a defamation lawsuit with one of her former employees. Lawyers say Winfrey and the woman who once served as the head mistress at her South African school met and resolved their differences peacefully and to their mutual satisfaction. The lawsuit was filed following a sex scandal at Winfrey's all-girls academy in 2007. A dorm mother has been accused of abusing several students, and the headmistress claims she didn't know anything about the allegations.
I was, needless to say, devastated and really shaken to my core when I first heard this news. And I spoke to all the girls personally, and I encouraged all of them, any of them who had actually been harmed, to please come forward and to trust the team and speak to the team and the police.
At that time, Winfrey said she had lost confidence in the headmistress and that she would be cleaning house from top to bottom. The former school official claimed the talk show host defamed her, and she had trouble finding a job after those comments. She asked for more than $250,000 in her lawsuit. Court papers suggest she is now working at another school in Africa.